I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. No second guess it, I let it set in. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. I smack my girl's ass, tell her pinch me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. Danny G, Miley, and Jim are in the house tonight. What is going on, gentlemen?
You know what? Overwhelmed by the amount of crazy news going on in the world right now. More specifically in the sports world, but so much going on. Danny, I have one hell of a soapbox for you. I'm irritated and can't wait.
I think we should get to the real crazy news, don't you, Danny?
Well, of course, Miles. I think you got something to show and tell the people here.
365 days. I won't be giving this up.
He's showing off his championship belt for fantasy football.
The champ is here.
John Cena is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. So the funny thing about Miles, we made it official. Miles is not just a guest. He's not just a friend. He's actually part of the 3 Gig Sports Podcast. We made this official after the podcast.
On my birthday.
On his birthday on Friday night. And we christened the deal with basically the rest of, 2/3 of a bottle of R&R, which is top 5 worst whiskeys ever.
Which is supposed to be the warm whiskey wager.
Right.
Because it's terrible.
It wasn't terrible that night, apparently.
God. It started terrible. Then I guess it was going down.
I think it was just going down. I don't think it was ever unterrible.
No doubt.
But
Somebody's like, oh, we can mix snow with this.
Oh, no doubt.
But to build on to what Danny's saying, very jacked. Our man has been showing up and supporting for almost since day one. So
yeah.
And we appreciate you coming on and actually just being 3 Gig. Like, it's you too.
Yeah, I
That's right, baby.
appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad to be a part of this. And let's get it going, you know?
Let's go, baby.
Oh, one more thing. I didn't forget about this. Hey, Mike asked this. Get it. Me, ring, one-on-one, somebody, anybody.
That hasn't fought before.
That hasn't fought before. No training. I need somebody that smokes 2 packs of smokes a day, 3 1-minute rounds. Let's go.
We talked about this. What do you weigh?
175, 180.
Okay.
And not tall and lanky either. I ain't fucking that. Not getting in that.
He wants to be able to reach his opponent, I suppose.
Well,
yeah.
I just don't want them to be able to reach me from halfway across the ring.
It's already in his mind. Yeah, when he gets in the ring, he's like, motherfucker,
Yeah.
he touched me from the other side.
Watch this. Yeah, he's not tall, Miles. Don't worry. 7'2", 180.
No big deal. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
If he can dunk a basketball, Miles doesn't want any part of it. Let's just say
Yeah,
that.
no. Dunk a basketball. If you can.
But you're calling out Estes to try to find you something.
Yeah, if you have to, and if the guy has to duck to take a shower, I don't want that.
Don't want that at all.
Here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to really build this up. We need like a WWE promo out of you.
We got the belt.
Yep.
You can take my belt, and I got. We got to fight till I win. Then if you take it from me,
I'm extremely confused. Who is the person to your right?
that's Danny.
Who is? Yeah, it is.
Oh no, are we talking about what's gone?
What? Yeah, what's this? Like,
I did. I lost some weight over the weekend in my face.
And it was so impressive though too. I can't believe you.
Yeah. Doesn't take long.
he usually puts. Hold on, it don't take long at all for him to throw. It's pure jealousy coming from over here. This is taking a long time for this. But I was actually surprised. He usually rocks a stash when he does his chop off. I'm like, well, if he took it all off, that means last time he did that, he did it to prove a point because Sam didn't notice that he trimmed it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, last time that's exactly what happened. Yeah, she didn't even notice. So I'm like, all right, fine. I got to notice everything, but you don't. But no, this time, so I started to trim up the beard a little bit, kind of clean it up. And my daughter comes in, my 4-year-old daughter, and she's like, that doesn't look very good. And I'm like, All right, you little son of a bitch. It's gone. It's a wrap. And so she convinced me just to get rid of it. And then now, just today, she's like, when are you growing your beard back? I'm like, motherfucker.
So indecisive.
So we can blame Ember.
Right, there we go.
But, yeah, man, I'm excited. Miles is officially part of the show. We've got some really passionate shit we're going to talk about tonight. And those of you listening, if you want to throw some shit on our Facebook or any of the socials and give your opinions too, we'd love to hear it because this is going to get good. Jimmer, what's up, man?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and roll this with, and it's in my notes. The NFL sets the Packers winning in game for Week 18 Sunday Night Football slot against the Lions. Where I'm getting stewed up right now is anybody, we've went on these soapboxes a little bit to a certain extent on the conspiracy theory of the NFL. What the hell happened? First off, their schedule got a hell of a lot softer in the back half. The Packers did. They barely were getting by even those. But how they look so bad, and they still look bad. Like anyone that wants to, but look at the Packers score versus Vikings, 41-17, whatever the hell it was. Go ahead and go look at the offensive stats against a defense that's been giving up over 500 yards and almost 30-point games on a regular basis on defense. They didn't do that in this game. No. My soapbox is that it feels like the conspiracy theory is there that they wanted them in the NFL or in the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers, especially what could be his last year. Every year keeps going into that mode. But a few of them started hitting right when the game was going on, and that's where it started dawning on me. Like, this shit's going to happen. We're going to get hosed. And granted, we lost some offensive linemen, but there was a few plays in particular. One of them was, about the battle between Jair talking shit, saying it was about a fluke. Yep. Justin Jefferson's week 1. There was a play, if you guys remember it, Kirk throws the ball to him. Right sideline, and Jair, not looking back at the ball in any way, shape, or form, goes in and hits him, or gets his arm up in there and hits him well before the ball's there. Should have been pass interference. No flag. Clearly in front of a ref, by the way.
Of course.
Clearly in front of a ref. That necessarily isn't where it got me. It was actually right after where some people would be like, especially Packers fans, he's throwing it right back at him. And that is doing the gritty right in front of Justin Jefferson, which is what?
That's JJ's move, man.
Right, but what is it when you
taunting?
Taunting, which is a what?
I believe that's a penalty, right?
That's
Miles?
a penalty? You're not allowed to face them and do anything like that. Old boy got it for doing it to Tyreek back like this. Yep. Did it right in his face. You can't do that. He did it right in front of him. He did it right in front of the ref and had pass interference just before that. Not a flag. There's a pass interference or borderline pass interference. Okay, if you're letting the teams play and it's a close game, I could probably overlook it because it happens. But there's another one where it turned into an interception where they tagged old boy first. So I think that was Hawkinson or Thielen. It was in the middle of the field, and they got to him early on that one too, and the ball got tipped up and then eventually got picked. Now, there's a few others, but then the game got out of hand. So then the offensive line didn't help itself because we lost our backup center to an injury and got our third one in there who didn't know when to snap the ball. So it looked like pure self-destruct. It looked like a perfect. You wouldn't have noticed like some of the stuff that was going on in the game, reffing-wise, to make sure that the Packers had every opportunity to continue on and be relevant to try to make a playoff push. Right? And the second part of my soapbox is purely to Jair Alexander. If you were out there pounding your fucking chest now, if you were taking shots of Rich and Rare in the locker room afterwards, whatever the fuck you were doing, you sure as hell shouldn't have. And I hope there was one responsible teammate that said, bro, you did not shut him down. Kirk Cousins shut him down.
Yeah, Kirk had a bad game.
There were so many video. If you go to the game tape and watch, there's so many times he was wide open. Jair was the guy that was supposed to be on him. He was beat more times than not. It's almost like Kirk tried to show that he could, at the early part of the game, he tried to show that he could beat you without Justin, and he started targeting. Hawkinson had like 4 drops off his hands, right? Thielen had a bad one too himself, and stuff like that. But then Kirk had that one horrible game he has every year. That horrible game. I'm not saying bad game. Horrible. He had 3 picks in this game. He had 2 fumbles. One of them was a lost fumble.
Yep.
This was not Jair shutting down the best receiver in the NFL. You did not shut him down. You had Kirk Cousins do Kirk Cousins. That's what happened. And what irritates me is that he gets to think he gets to strut around when that is not the fact. You go back and watch it, and it irritates me. There's one where he's wide open in the end zone. You know who the closest corner was? Jair. Jair was no closer than our casting couch here to you, to Justin Jefferson. And it's irritating that he gets to even. I'm like, dude, you didn't first off, you didn't shut him down. And I do believe that you sucked the life out of the team with the NFL. My belief of the NFL conspiracy of trying to help the Packers have an opportunity to make the playoffs. They can't blatantly do. And then when it looked like, hey, we don't even have to do it anymore because the offensive line for the Vikings is fucking this up already because they don't know when to snap the ball and keep getting penalized, right?
Yeah.
And then Kirk's being Kirk and he's getting attacked too all at the same time. So you don't even notice it, but at first when we were still in the game, there was blatant shit going on, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" There's one where he got smacked. He got smacked late. Kirk did.
That one I agree with. That one.
You don't agree with Justin Jefferson on the sideline one?
I don't agree with the gritty being a 15-yard penalty on Alexander. The only reason is because if an offensive player scores a touchdown, they can do that.
Right,
if a defensive player does a good that's your touchdown, you know.
Right, when you're not looking at them, and he was.
Yeah,
he was doing it at them. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
by the letter of the rule. But regardless, the pass
that is
interference,
taunting. That is taunting.
That is the letter. Let's ignore the taunting part. The fact that it was clearly blatant pass interference, and it was because it wasn't like a bang bang or even a half bang bang. It literally, go back and watch that play. He literally had his arm in there and grabbed his arm. Then the ball came in.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly which play you're talking about on that one.
Regardless, there is a shot for the shitty-ass Packers, who we've all watched all season long, regardless of the Vikings game, who have been god-awful, correct?
Yeah.
Bad teams, losing to bad teams, leaving bad teams in the game, getting blown out by good teams, whatever the scenario, right? And Aaron Rodgers has been dog shit too, honestly.
Yeah.
And they have a shot. Throws. All they have to do is win. That's all they have to do. And all these other teams that started off hot and were kind of playing above and they were playing above. The Seahawks were one of them, right? Playing above where they were supposed to be this season. The Lions, who we thought would be rebuilding but not competing for a playoff spot, right? Those ones have been playing hard all season long. Now all the Packers, all they have to do is have Aaron Rodgers have a game against a team that he traditionally owns in the Lions that they set up for Sunday Night Football too, when they've been really bad on primetime to watch.
Yeah.
Right. End of soapbox, but it was I had to get that out watching that game. It wasn't we self-destructed ourselves later, but
we didn't need help.
We didn't need help though.
Yeah.
And it looked very suspicious to me, especially in the beginning part. I'm like, what are we doing right? I knew we were gonna lose before we self-destructed because they weren't making the calls when they should have. We kept them out of the end zone. Even after they picked it off, it was only 10-0 or some shit. We didn't punch it in, and we had questionable play calling on that one too. We should have ran it. Then when we finally did, there just wasn't a hole by that point. I don't know, just because we had it. Remember, we had the block punt down to the 2 or 1, down to 1, I think. Yeah. So, but end of soapbox.
Very well. So he just had a soapbox here, right? I was at the casino for that game. And I'm next to a machine that's kind of close to the FanDuel. I don't even have to watch the game because there's one guy going ballistic on the sports page over there. Just go the fuck home, and like somebody's popped off and said they told him to go home. He goes, no, you go the fuck home. And then here comes security, and they go, no, you're going the fuck home. But so this guy's just. He comes out, like, now I finally get to see him when he walks by me, head to toe in Justin Jefferson gear, Vikings. And I'm just like, this guy, he did the same bet I did.
He bet the house on the Vikings.
He bet the house on Justin Jefferson to break the record.
Oh, man.
And I just, I was like, idiot. I told you to bet the house. Only put $5 on it. The payout was too good.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. Your soapbox is good, man. I think the Packers play the Lions, and it's legit win and get in, right?
Where
Between
at?
the two teams.
Where do they play
In
at?
Detroit, I think.
No.
Is it in Green Bay?
Yeah. Real convenient, right?
I didn't.
Jared
I thought
Goff.
they already played it. Damn it.
Outdoors in winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Green Bay.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You double checked that already? Because I'm not going to look. You did double check
It's
it?
showing the Lions on top and Packers on bottom. So Lions at Packers.
Yeah, because the Lions won. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So I would say the odds are in Green Bay's favor. I think if the Lions want to prove that they're turning things around, and I think they've showed signs of it this year. They got their shit pushed in by Carolina a couple weeks ago, but I do think they're a better team, and they've got way more offensive weapons. Their offensive line's better than ours. They should be able to beat the Packers, but I think you're right. I think there's a little bit of an edge given to the Packers here in this
I think
game.
they're going to get every leeway in this. They already did in this last game, but they didn't need much until our injuries set in, right? I think they're going to get every leeway of this one. The nostalgia of, Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers making his team look like it's on a comeback, and they had their little feuds, but now they're, the story that goes with that, and this young team, and they're about to self-dissolve, and they came back.
Yep.
It's just too much of a... And there's nobody running away with anything in the NFC for the most part outside of Philly, right?
If Hurts is healthy.
Right. If Hurts is healthy. I agree with you.
Yeah.
If Hurts is healthy. Because the Cowboys are very up and down. Dak hasn't been the same since he came back from injury, really. We've already talked about that, right? And then there's the Vikings, who are one of the most inconsistent teams.
You could say the Niners, but they've got the rookie playing, so
They
that's
do.
a big deal.
And that is a big deal, especially when it comes to playoff crunch time.
Yeah.
That scheme can only cover up so much when it comes to, all right, where's the experience now? Because I need
Yeah.
you to – this is where it would be nice. Jimmy G was supposed to be able to be back. I don't know about the round one or not. I don't know that.
But playoffs, yeah.
I think he was supposed to be ready for playoffs, right? Or a
Yep.
shot at it.
Yep.
But regardless, I'm with you. The Niners, yes. But Brock Purdy being back there makes it a little bit different. A little bit of vulnerability, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I disagree. I think I hate him. Shanahan's play calling.
He's so good.
No, but his play calling is 75 times better right now than it was for Garoppolo. Like he is putting the game in Brock Purdy's hands where he can't fuck it up. Like he's calling everything the way it needs to be called.
And it's
like
working.
he is showing how big of a mastermind he is. Like, granted, all that talent really helps, but when you can do that,
Yeah.
I think Shanahan, he's doing big brain moves.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think a big part of them is going to be C-Mac, though. I know he had like an ankle sprain this last weekend. They're using him a lot because they have to.
Because Debo hasn't been out there,
Yeah.
right?
So we're about to see, is it the traditionally injured C-Mac? Is he going to come up eventually and get hurt? Because that's going to be critical. If he goes out, man, I don't have nearly as much faith.
I don't know how much depth they have anymore.
Right.
A lot of those guys got injured first off, and they traded one of them after they got C-Mac too. Be interesting to see, But you're right. Probably the one that could be, you're just always waiting for Tom Brady and the Bucs, I guess. Like, they could turn it on.
If
Their
him
defense
and
is
Evans,
there.
yeah, the defense is fine. If him and Evans got that connection, it's legit.
Yeah.
This could be the perfect time to light that fire, man.
To light that fire.
And it's Tom Brady.
So, but that all builds back to my point. Shanahan's probably the best coach in the NFC in the playoff, right?
Hands down.
That
Yeah.
I'm not okay. So I'm not missing somebody.
No.
That's in the playoffs right now. Okay, I think. Oh, well, no, that's AFC. I said NFC. I said
Yeah.
NFC.
Yeah.
So yeah, that. So when it comes down to that, then I would trust a one hell of a coach. We'll just see.
Are you saying all of NFC or just NFC West?
In the playoffs.
Playoffs.
In the playoffs. Right
all
now.
of the NFC though, right?
All the NFC.
Okay, thank you.
And all the.
I agree.
And all the NFC until Kevin O'Connell gets some more reps underneath his belt.
Well, I mean, I was going to take his superior, but yes. No, Shanahan is the best in the playoffs, hands down.
Is. But that builds back to what I was just saying, though. It ultimately was that the NFC is not locked down. This is theirs, except for Philly. If Hurts is there, they almost have a clear shot there, right?
Yeah.
Everything else is like a little more wide open, especially there's more vulnerability. So all you need is maybe they're thinking an Aaron Rodgers led team with a defense that started catching a little bit of fire. But like I said, they've been playing the lower end of the NFL the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So
I
just think it builds into it.
It's interesting now that I think about it. The coaching difference in the NFC so different than the AFC teams in the playoffs. Besides Cincy, as far as coaches go, all of the teams that are in or about to be in the playoffs, maybe besides the Chargers too, all those coaches are super respectable and can hang with each other. Tennessee, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, all of these teams. Obviously Kansas City.
Oh, hold on. I'll give you another one. I'm going to build on to you because it's up for grabs this weekend. Doug Peterson.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Because they have that shot too. Did you say that? Did you say Jax? Okay, my bad.
Yep. Yeah, he's a big part. And they're kind of under the radar right now.
Yeah.
And they could be building something.
And
your boy's playing out of his mind.
He is. And the whole team has, though. They've been playing above what we thought they were, but almost what we thought they were going to be kind of last year. Before we knew Urban Meyer became a turd.
Right.
We actually thought they would take a climb last year, right?
Yep.
This is the climb that they were supposed to make last year now, and they have a shot to win the division.
They do.
It'd be interesting to see. But it does lead – it's coming off it's not going into my notes, but I'm going to give you a little bit right here, and that is you kind of touched it a little bit.
Okay.
You said a little different in the AFC coaches that are in the playoffs or could be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
What were you talking about a little bit ago?
I'm sticking with what I'm saying, man. Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs. They had a amazing game-winning throw and catch from your boy Kenny Pickett to Najee Harris, who's fucking been pretty good the last month or so.
What do you mean? Baby hands Pickett can throw a football
I'm telling
and lead
you,
a team?
Coming in clutch.
Yeah.
And that's what that's when you started this whole conversation based on coaches, right? And that's one of the things. Tomlin's a fucking great coach.
He is.
Right?
Yep.
So they could be a little scary, maybe first round, beat somebody up that they shouldn't. But I do think they're going to make the playoffs.
There we go.
Tomlin had a good quote. I can't remember it, but I'll try to hit on it. They were saying, we thought you guys were done, weren't going to make the playoffs. And he goes, yeah, I don't know what happens. We just start to multiply or something. And I'm not saying the exact quote because I can't remember exactly, but it was pretty much like, we're not ready to die. Like, this team will come together for each other. And then you got to look at it the same way. Tomlin, respectable guy. Those guys play hard for him.
That's right, man.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the very real world of sports, right? And that is, there's a bunch of news that's came out since then, obviously, but Monday Night Football had a little bit of sadness. Bills safety Damar Hamlin is in critical condition after suffering cardiac arrest on Monday Night Football versus the Bills. Bills versus the Bengals. The game was postponed. Some quick hitter details is I do believe it was 9 minutes. So there was a collision between him and T. Higgins. It was not a bad hit. As far as NFL hits go, this was not bad, right? And dude stands up for 1 second, and he looked fine, and then literally dropped. And everyone could tell it was very serious. Guys started jumping back. He was without blood flow and everything for about 9 minutes. They had to use the AED unit, the whole works, where they knew it was 100% serious. I mean, obviously they knew it was serious, but I guess when they went to go put him in the ambulance, they had to set him back down because they didn't have a pulse. So very scary stuff.
Yeah, so it was a 9-minute ordeal. I don't think he had 9 minutes without a pulse.
9 minutes of CPR.
9 minutes of CPR.
Yeah, but when they were putting him in,
that's when the AED had to come out.
Oh, see, I guess.
So that's the way I understood it. When I seen
the way
okay.
I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, I thought they thought he had a pulse, and then they went to go load him up, and they're like, oh shit. Yeah. So so let me correct that. He might have not had a pulse for 9 minutes.
Right.
But I'm stating that like they were loading him up all Casmic, like, oh, we'll get him to the hospital. Now he doesn't have a pulse. So, you know, it's sad because from what I was reading, you know, I could be wrong, but people were saying that they were automatically assuming it was a concussion. You know, so they
That's
were
what's been going on recently.
So
right?
when they first ran out there, they were just going to treat a concussion.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, shit.
You see the video. So I watched the video. You seen the one trainer run out there, and that's exactly at first I think what they thought when he went down. But right when he got close, you could tell his eyes of the trainer. His eyes went like kind of big and like kind of went like this before he like realized like, oh fuck, this isn't. Yeah. It wasn't quite.
You need more than a trainer.
Yeah.
Hey, when we're done with this segment, I got a crazy stat to tell you guys.
Okay.
Just don't let me forget it.
He is, since then, they did get to, was it Cincinnati Hospital.
Where my dad had a heart transplant at.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
When he was there, his uncle has said that as of now, he's in better condition. They had him to where they had him turn over on his side. They turned him over on his side.
Mm-hmm.
And to help things go, I guess, is the way to put it. But then the ventilator is off, not off, but it is backed off. So it was 100% ventilation. Last time I knew, it was 40% his own breath versus ventilation. So it is. So he's making big strides, right?
For a guy, I mean, that was crazy. Like
probably dead for a second, you know?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they had to tip him over. He had a bunch of fluid in his lungs, and so that's why they tipped him on his side and on his stomach to help with that. But it took a long time to get him to get to that number you're talking about. So he's making strides, but god damn, that shit was scary, man.
The one thing I was thinking about the other day, like yesterday, after I seen it, was like, you know what? I kind of feel guilty because not that long ago, I was just thinking, how many NFL games have been played? And on national TV on a regular basis, right? And not one person has died on the field for how many hits that have happened and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
We've seen some nasty, traumatic things, but I've always been shocked that. And, like, that sounds, I'm not trying to say, I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's crazy it's never happened, you know? But this hit right here was not that. In fact, what they were saying, what they're believing is that when that collision happened.
It jolted his heart.
Well, it was right when his heart was beating. So like an arrhythmic, whatever.
That's what causes a rhythmic shock.
Yep. So it was like right when his heart was beating is when the worst possible time, like right when it was beating was when it was like perfect strike. And that's what they're saying, what caused it, which eventually took him into cardiac arrest. So
it's crazy that it takes the body that long to react. Like he got up.
Yeah, he did.
But that's the adrenaline. Like they say if you get shot, you won't feel it. So imagine this guy's heart just stopped. And first thing he does is stands back up. Mm-hmm. I'm good. No, you're not.
Yeah, it's a fucked up analogy. It's kind of like a chicken with its head cut off, right?
Yeah,
like that yeah.
Or like how mothers, like they say, mothers that flip cars with their babies in it, and you know, it's just
the
like
adrenaline. Yeah.
I don't think never mind. We won't go there.
I'm just saying, yeah, it was. I'm with you. I agree. It was weird to see him hop up like that, and then just boom, done.
And that's the sad part of this all. When he hopped, like, well, a couple things. We need to give credit to the EMS and everybody. You know,
yes.
You got to pay those people's props. I couldn't do their job.
They say they possibly saved a life. At least gave him a fighting shot too. Yeah. Right.
I mean, you know, and then the sad part is I've been reading up on brain surgeons and stuff. He's never going to be the same again. You know,
chances are
the chance.
Regardless, his heart stopped.
Yeah.
For 9 minutes. Yeah. That's a big deal. So no matter what, he's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
He's never going to be the same.
No.
Hopefully he comes back to close, right?
Yeah.
We pray for that, but he's never going to be the same, no matter what.
No. In fact, my wife was doing some research because she called me that night. She was at work, and she called me. She's like, hey, did you see that? And I didn't because me and my daughters were cuddling in bed and passed out. So we didn't miss that. And she's like, it's crazy, right? And I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? Well, she's been doing research since then. She said it is literally like when this happens to somebody, and it doesn't matter. It was actually actual diagnosis of what happened, not the hit, none of that bullshit. Just literally the diagnosis. 56% chance
Of getting a pulse back?
of living after this. Of living. Like after you've been resuscitated, the whole works. 56%. I think it was 56. And if I'm wrong, it's off 10% the other way. It's not good either which way.
Yeah.
It's almost a flip of the quarter after you were resuscitated, whether you were able to live even after that. So these were very critical hours and days after they got him to the hospital, after they did resuscitate him and get him going. I hope that's the case. I hope he can get as close back to normal as possible. Like you said, it's pretty damn near.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's minimal.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done.
He's gonna have enough money to give those toys out to those kids that he wanted to do.
I did. Yeah. What was that called? Something M's.
I got it right here. Hold on.
He was trying to. It was his. He was trying to get like $2,500 in toys for kids.
Yep.
And that last number I seen was 30 mil.
6 million.
6 million.
6 million is the last number I seen.
Okay. Maybe
I'll click on it right now and tell you the real numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, 6,820,000.
There you go. And he was aiming for only like 2,500. Something like that.
I want to say to the person that found this and started this up, that's awesome. I mean,
He started it.
no, the because this is old. Like this is
okay.
somebody went and found the GoFundMe page.
Quite honestly, probably Buffalo Bills fans because that's what they do.
The Chasing M's Foundation.
There you go.
Community
Chasing M's.
Toy Drive.
There you go.
Dude, what's really cool about this is the support from everybody in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw one of our, I can't remember, Brian, one of our defensive linemen actually paid for dinner for all of the Bills and dinner for everybody in the hospital that was taking care of him, the family, and all that stuff. There have been a lot of statements, like Mike Tomlin. I don't know if you saw his speech. I think it was yesterday or early today. He's known Hamlin since he was 12 years old.
Oh.
So he grew up in Pittsburgh, and he's known him
Yeah.
and watched him mature and everything like that. And he's like just devistated. He's like, it's hard to see all the work somebody's put in like that and watch him grow as a man.
Patrick Jones
happens.
played, and he's our he's our rotational defensive end. Played college with him at Pitt. Fuck, man. Yeah.
What about oh, I can't leave this out. Sorry. T. Higgins went to the last I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday today at 3 a.m. our time. T. Higgins was still at the hospital. Refuses to leave until he knows he's going to be all right. Is what Fox News was saying.
It's a lot. That you guys are kind of leading me. He tiptoed on it.
Harrison Phillips is who.
Harrison Phillips.
Yeah.
Oh, he was an old Bills guy too.
Yep.
Harrison Phillips, defensive tackle. Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys keep tiptoeing. You just did touching Fox Sports. Going out of order my notes. Got to bring it up.
Oh wait. Are you going on a different subject though?
It's not.
It's along the same subject.
Well,
What's your stat, Miles?
What's your stat?
My stat
Your password's really hard.
is at the Cincinnati Bengals stadium. The 4 biggest injuries that I can relay have happened on that field.
Okay.
The Antonio Brown's head injury.
Oh yeah, Vontaze.
Shareem,
Yes, Shazier,
Shazier,
the linebacker, just started walking.
Fuck, that was there.
Tua's injury was this year,
What the hell?
and then now this one
Wow.
on that field.
So as soon as you said Antonio Brown, I remember that one happening.
Yeah.
I remember the Shazier one too. Dude couldn't walk.
I watched that game.
Let's be real. The Antonio Brown one, that might have fucked him up. That might have turned him into what he is
That
now.
might have. Hey, thank you, Vontaze,
Right.
kid.
Right.
Because I don't remember him being like that till then. So
Right.
you're right. But then then the two, and then I forgot about the Tua one too.
Yep.
Those
Wow,
are big ones.
Those are pretty damn significant.
Yeah. I seen that. I was like, there's no way. And then I was like, well, I know that one. I know that one. I was like, that's crazy.
That is.
Fuck you, Paul Brown Stadium.
To lead into this one. Athletes are calling for Skip Bayless to be fired after his Damar Hamlin tweet.
Did you see it, Miles?
Yeah.
I'm about to read it to you so that you know.
I seen it.
No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? Bayless tweeted as medical personnel tended to Hamlin on the field in Cincinnati. This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, ... which suddenly seems so irrelevant.
I'm not defending Skip on this, but we're attacking the wrong guy. I forget who it was. One of the. I'm not trying to get off
You're
that.
You're going somewhere. Like me and Danny are just kind of like, all right, what do you got?
So I wanted to address Skip Bayless.
Yep.
Until I seen, it was on ESPN or I don't even know the analyst that said it. So this guy is getting fired. Has to be.
Okay, which one?
Oh, he tried to say what T. Higgins did.
Bart Scott.
Yeah.
Yep. Seen that, heard that. Yep.
What was it? What was the quote?
Go ahead.
The quote is that he launched himself into him.
And it should be on.
It wasn't a football play or something.
Mekhi Parsons just came to his aid on that one, like T. Higgins and a few other players. Like,
Fuck
how in the hell
you.
dare you even say something like that? You could tell it was nothing like that. That
No.
hit was. That's a typical routine tackle.
All you're doing is like protecting yourself because you're about to potentially get drilled, so you're fucking lowering like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I look at it, it's just like it's just a routine hit. T. Higgins, get off me. I got yardage to gain, you know?
Yeah.
And for him to say that, like, that's upset me. Now, to turn that back around, I was going to go out, like, I was going to address this Skip Bayless today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to defend him. Because read the last bit of that statement, which now seems so irrelevant. What he is stating is he doesn't care about that. He cares about the player.
See, he left it too vague like that because you could take it 100% and very easily in how it was taken. This is even like the softy era that we're in now. You legitimately could take it like he's saying now it's no big deal, like it's irrelevant. Like we have serious playoffs because they're used to yanking players off quickly and the game continuing on. So I could see easily how he said it and how I could interpret it, how you could, or quite literally anybody else.
Anybody could.
You almost have to dig a little harder at what you're saying. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not, because I can see it that way. But to me, when I first read it, I was like, ooh, brother. Didn't you? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was.
At first, yeah.
Until I read tweets of other players saying there's no way he meant that. This is what he is stating.
I don't know which players there are because they're very, very few.
I haven't seen anybody defend him.
I'm not saying you're
I'll
wrong.
have to pull it up. I mean,
Okay.
you guys know I go digging.
Oh, I know you will. I know you're going to find this.
No, I will.
Yep.
Well, here's the problem with that. So the last line, which now seems so irrelevant.
Is that added to cover his ass?
That's like part of what he just said.
Yeah.
The entire thing was about the fact that this is the end of the NFL season, and this is ultimately what he's worried about. It's going to determine the number one seed potentially, and we can't reschedule it. Then he adds at the end, to cover his ass. Now it seems so irrelevant. The entire point of what you fucking just said was that the game's going to get postponed. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about Hamlin. It was about that, dude. That was him being a fucking douchebag. There's better ways you can say what you said because he's not wrong when it comes to that, because it's like, fuck, now what are they going to do? But you can't, like you're saying that essentially what Hamlin's
a game is more important than a person's life.
Yeah.
That was literally battling for his life.
Okay.
Right there.
I'm going to take this dark.
Do you want to build off of something after I give you some more information on this?
Oh, yeah. You have more info.
I got a few. I got a little more for you. And then
Okay.
I also have a video that I can have you listen because it's going to go to that, okay?
Well, all I wanted to say is if you're in Skip Bayless's shoes, you have a platform to talk on.
Yep.
You don't need social media.
Agreed.
No, absolutely. But it also gets you piping into a show too.
No, which we all do. But
Yeah,
when you're at the tip top, you can lose that because of this.
Right. But you got to be careful sometimes in how you word it. Like, regardless, like we try to too, like, and we're nowhere near the same level. But my point
That's
is,
what I'm saying. But if you're at the top of the pendulum, let it go. You don't need to worry about the small bait no more.
yeah, like that kind of, yeah. So the next day, Shanon Sharpe did not show up for their show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Did not show up for their show. He went on by himself, not knowing what was going on. Evidently, and this has been backed, and I'm going to play you an expert of today's show. But evidently, the Fox bosses actually went and talked to him about his tweet and how he needed to go and clarify. Then he sent some more tweets out that he needed to clarify or something like that. So they weren't digging it. But Shanon Sharpe shows up to work today. And this is the video that I want you to listen to. If I can pull it, make some noises or something. Talk dirty to me.
Talk dirty to me, baby.
So, Danny,
I'm a big fan of Shanon Sharpe, by the way.
Yeah.
I might be about to be. Danny, we're not going to get James in on this conversation, but my dark thing I wanted to say was,
That's it.
Don't listen to him. Keep going.
if this is so, first off, fuck you, Roger Goodell. Second thing, Roger Goodell handled this event like any other workplace would. If the players did not refuse to go back out on that field, that game would have went.
Yeah.
So what I'm stating is, if something happened, all of us at our workplace, I'm not saying my job would do it, but like, let's say, I'm just going to use it for instance. All of us are really close. If one of us was to pass away, it was going to be, when do you think you can get that empty?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that they all banded together to make sure that wasn't happening was awesome,
Yeah. Totally agree, man.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out because we're gonna pull a video later because that'll be a topic. TMZ Sports is just on top of shit.
Gotta
give them,
dude,
because they have one for later for
Yeah.
us. Here we go. Hold on.
Let's go.
Sex, drugs, and Kardashians.
There we go.
Nobody knew you were using
Right here.
cocaine.
Speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture, innuendo, but I will say this: in watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. As a brotherhood in the NFL, when injuries happen, when we know injuries are a part of the game, I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear, but I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So they struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down
Okay,
because I
but-
stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me
Okay.
finish.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead. Let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting
Okay,
me.
well-
you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought-
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were
was
gonna
say-
bring
no,
up
No,
this.
I was just gonna say, Skip. I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was gonna do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No, clearly the bosses wanted you to offer explanation. So clearly,
No,
somebody
they
had a
did
problem.
not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
Thoughts and prayers were made with Damar
Just awkward,
Hamlin.
right? The rat. See,
Dude, Shanon Sharpe might not be on there very much longer then, because he just called them out.
he don't need to.
Yeah.
Oh boy, ain't gonna have a job. I don't think. I think Skip Bayless isn't gonna have a job after this.
Do you think they wanted him to apologize and then be like, nope, you're out?
No, I actually think that they would back him before they would back Skip because I think they had the conversation with Skip.
No,
And Skip thought that we weren't going to talk about it on air He's like.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking of it a different way. Maybe I'm wrong.
Shanon Sharpe knew they were going to do it on air. They told
No, he
Skip-
didn't. He didn't know Skip was going to argue with him right there when he said, "I hope he takes it down." He piped in.
Oh,
He
I
piped
was-
in.
I
There
was
was just
looking
an
at that
opening
the
monologue
other
where he
way.
was going to say, "I wasn't going to make this about your tweet." Even that's even what he kept saying. I wanted to come in and talk about his stuff. I want to make it about him.
Not you, Skip. Yeah, okay, I got it. Wow.
So
That's fucking, that we're even arguing about, like, how the fuck did Skip turn this into about him?
That's what he does.
Does he keep his job?
From that segment, you're going to have to choose. Unless him and if Shanon Sharpe hugged him and, like, they both apologized afterwards,
Do I give him a little more?
did they throw down?
Or do you want to do that? Because you're the one that also seen that one too.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You haven't had money? I'll let you chat this one up.
Are you guys
Go ahead.
serious?
No, there's more from prior.
Yeah, so not too long ago, Skip took some real jabs at Shanon about basically how great Tom Brady is, and Shanon basically it was like you shouldn't have an opinion because you're not as great as Tom Brady. You're not as good as Tom Brady. What does it matter?
Yeah.
And he kept going, and they kept going. Anything Shanon said about Tom Brady, where Shannon's like, he's the fucking GOAT quarterback. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. He's a great quarterback, but he's not as good this year. And Shanon kept taking offense to it and was digging at Shanon, and he finally had to flip out. And he's like, I'm in the Hall of Fame. What do you want from me? I think I was pretty damn good. But I can have an opinion. You never played football, and it was real. So this isn't the first time that they've gone off of their normal banter.
And this was just a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah.
So we're talking Miles and Tyler type arguments right now.
Yeah, that got cranked up a little bit with this right here.
Yeah.
And I think what I hearing comboed up with that previous one, I'm hearing Shanon getting fed up.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say. I don't, because of the money, they don't have any other like shows that are as big as Undisputed. They don't. And Skip, he's a ton of followers. He brings in a ton of viewership because he says dumb shit. Mm-hmm. I'm not confident that they fire him. They should. But what I will say is I don't think him and Shanon will be together anymore, one way or another.
I watched a basketball player get in trouble for watching a fucking movie.
Here we go.
Skip,
I think I recall.
If we want to get on board, when Skip said I'm not taking that down, I changed the tone that I had earlier about his last segue on that tweet. When you refuse to take it down is because you're refusing to back down from what you meant, and what you meant is fucking wrong now. Like that you made it.
But you're thinking that if I take it down, then it makes it look like I was wrong or something like that.
No,
right?
the fact that you're arguing with somebody you should be close with, asking you like take it down. All he said was take it down.
Actually, he's like, I hope you take it down.
I hope, yeah.
And he was still trying to continue his monologue, and he cut him off.
Yeah. So,
And how fucked up is it? He's being emotional. He's like, as a player, this was hard for me. I saw my brother, all of this stuff, and that's what you just come at it because he mentions a small thing. I hope you take it down. Anyway, so he's moving on. That was a blip in what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And Shanon has to make a big deal out of it. Fucking come out and say what you actually meant and admit, you know what? I shouldn't have said it that way. This is what I meant. But he's not going to do that. That's not what he does.
Because he doesn't admit when he's wrong more times than not, right?
Right.
Can we take one more swing at somebody here, or do you got something else there?
No, go ahead.
I want to know why the referees thought a 5-minute break to warm up was enough for, like, I don't like either of the teams that were playing in that game. I like the players. I like the coaches definitely way more now than I. If one of those was my coach, you want me to take a sword out there because I will.
Right.
I'll go to war for you.
Mm-hmm.
Both those coaches gained a lot of respect. But Roger Goodell, to not give they were saying that Roger Goodell would be the one to call this. The commissioner will be the one to call it. Any
It's a
minute,
tough spot.
any minute there, I'm expecting like the president to pop up on my TV. But, be Roger Goodell. We're calling this game. You are the the Eiffel Tower of the NFL looking down. Nobody sees your face. We don't get to see you express sympathy. So those guys are just viewership numbers for you.
Mm.
Where's the card at for those guys? You know?
Agreed. I think it's an extremely, and I'm not talking about him. I'm just talking about in general. This is an extremely tough position. I understand the young man who's battling for his life. Okay, that is technically that's going on right now. The world is going to fortunately will move on, and I hope he does get back to normal. But what we're talking about when it comes to the sports side of this, the difficult side of what just happened, sports wise, at the end of the playoffs. What Skip should have kind of just stayed with, right? What do you do? They play week in and week out. You don't. This isn't basketball. You don't squeeze in 2 games, and technically what could end up being 3 games in literally a week and a couple days.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
No,
it's not basketball. You can't do that. So your options. Here are the options we're gonna lay them out. And I'm going to go ahead and now see which one you believe is probably the best, okay? That's a nice little interesting way of doing this. You either call the game where it was. 7-3, I do believe is the score.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals were ahead. Is that fair for the Bengals or is that fair for the Bills? Probably not, but whatever.
Yep.
You could go that they push. They wait and see what happens with the Kansas City game. Because if Kansas City loses, then they could do something. I don't know what they could do, but I think they want to kind of see how that Kansas City one goes and shit like that because they're in shake for that one spot as well as the 2 teams that we're playing.
Yep.
Okay. Bills win, they get the 1 seed. Bengals win and the Chiefs lose and Bengals, then they can and then they win again. You know what I'm getting at?
Yep.
They're the 1 seed. Bills lose, Chiefs win, Chiefs end up with 1 seed. Right?
Yep.
Your other option is push the playoffs back. Literally every single set a week, every week of the playoffs gets moved back 1 more week, and you literally play that game.
Then you miss that gap between the Super Bowl. That's
what hurts
there.
One team on the NFC side gets 2 bye weeks.
You could. What they did have is that you could, they don't really care about the Pro Bowl anyway, so you don't have to miss a Super Bowl week. You can just move it back up. I don't know exactly. I'm just saying the option of doing it. And that would be super inconvenient for every single fan that booked hotels for the playoffs, that had their team in the playoffs, that know that's a home because stuff's booked.
Yep.
Right?
Has to be. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, or do you go, and this is another interesting one, and I could see this happening. Do you go old Friday Night Lights? Do you guys remember that movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember where they meet in a non-disclosed location? They flip a quarter.
See, that's crazy. I brought that up today at work. I said it's going to come down to a quarter flip. Everybody told me I was crazy. Do you really believe it could?
I think it's a small possibility.
I think it's more likely than they end up actually playing the game.
Yep.
I
think what's going to happen versus what I think they should do are 2 completely different things. I think what's going to end up happening, they're going to call, fair or not to the Bills, I think they're going to call that 7-3 final.
Or a tie. If both teams say we don't want to play again.
See, that's where I didn't go into the math part when I forgot to bring that up.
When it comes to the Chiefs and
when
stuff.
When it comes to the Chiefs, I think they want to see what happens there, and then if the tie, but that's still, that would kind of, then that'd piss on the Bengals, who were ahead in that game, who had the shot for number 1, if you do a tie.
So here makes the sense in my head. Chiefs win this weekend. They get the number 1 seed. We have nothing to worry about.
They wouldn't have, though. Because if the Bills won, they would have to still chalk the game as a loss.
The NFL is going to say that these 2 teams chose not to play.
Which could quite possibly. So, my question to you, gentlemen, which one do you think they do?
Chiefs play the Raiders, so they're going to win.
Maybe not with Stidham.
He's playing great. He did play good last weekend.
Yeah, he actually didn't play too bad.
The thing I think they're going to do is the Chiefs are going to win.
No, what do you think they should do?
Well, what do I think they should do?
What do you think they should do?
If this puts me in a difficult spot, I'm sorry, but they should have played Tuesday morning. They should have.
They should have played the next day. I agree with that. I'm with you.
I mean, I know you're
shitty life experiences have happened, and I'm saying this with all due respect. I really am. The Metrodome roof caved in. They played that game on a Tuesday night in Detroit.
Yep.
What I'm getting at is that there was deaths in that too, by the way. There's stuff that happens. This is my point. You obviously didn't finish it then, which is fine. Understandably so. You probably should have played it the next day. You probably should have. I don't know what time or anything like that. That is what I'm getting at. You probably should have done it then. It's a little late in the game now.
I couldn't believe they let him get on the plane. Like they didn't. It's like they didn't even think about it. It's like get on the plane.
Like they didn't know. They didn't know how the world would react if they said you're playing the game tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think that was.
Yeah, cancel culture is a very big deal.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell.
So what do they do though?
Huh?
What do they do?
What?
Or what do you think they should do? That's what I mean. What do you think they should do?
I want to see the quarter flip.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Quarter flip.
Quarter flip, I think, is actually the best and most fair out of all of it. It gives all of them a half-ass equal shot to it.
Yep.
It's a shitty situation regardless, but you can make the best of the shitty situation all around by at least giving your team a shot.
And Vegas, think about how much money the home field
quarter flips.
The home field for the quarter plus it gets the minus money, right?
Yep.
So the away team gets the plus.
If it didn't compromise too much, and this is without me digging into shit, what they should do, what they could do. I wouldn't be shocked if they actually move everything back, depending on how this week's game goes. If they actually move it back one more week, because there was provisions before. I don't know how it's sitting now. There was provisions before, especially with the 2020
with COVID,
and they added a week or whatever, so that there's a playable week that could be substituted. And I think there was something still kind of in there. It just wasn't talked about. You know what I mean? Ever since like they went to 17 games in the playoffs and stuff. I don't have a bunch of detail on that. I'm just saying,
if they have that flexibility, then that's what will happen. I guess that's a good
if
call.
There's flexibility in it, because people want to see the game be played too. Like, hold on, a quarter flip. Because there's always going to be two teams that are really pissed.
Yeah.
Especially if the Bills aren't the one with it or the Chiefs. Because the Bengals had the outside shot of them all.
Right.
Wait a minute.
But then they have legit arguments they were ahead.
They're all in the playoffs, right?
I can see them literally call it. Yeah, I can literally see them call the game, and that is what it goes. 7-3 final. Be no different than a rain-delayed game that goes too much, and they just say, this is the final score.
I got it.
It's not fun in that aspect, but
yeah,
I can see that too.
I got it. They make them play. They're both already in the playoffs. You make them play the first week in the playoffs. You diffuse the whole situation.
Who's the home team?
Who are they going to face?
Who's the home
Cincinnati
team?
gets home field advantage. They had it. They didn't get to have that home game.
That's tough.
That comes back to the ugly part of.
But does it? If I'm a
Cincinnati's
Bills,
playing hot football, so it isn't like they're like a slouch.
Yeah, they got some injuries though on the line, man.
If I'm a Bills fan, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
They lost their main guy, Leal, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
There's no solution, right?
Yeah.
It's
There's
tough.
not.
All right.
There's not.
Let's keep rolling.
Yeah.
We're going to knock out a bunch of small ones before we get into a real passionate one again, okay? And when I say small, I don't mean any disrespect for what the next one I'm about to say is, because it is sad. So, Iowa linebacker Jack Campbell's grandfather dies in a pedestrian vehicle accident before the Music City Bowl in Nashville, Tennessee.
I heard about that.
They didn't tell Jack, obviously, until after the game. Which the Hawkeye... Why? What is he supposed to do at that point? Be emotional for something you can't do? Like he was passed.
How did they hide that? I would have been more worried.
You don't get to see him.
No.
It isn't like you get to see Jack Campbell.
The news.
No, the hecklers. Like
nobody knew about it. I don't think it was literally. I think they're on the way to the game.
Yeah, he went to walk across the street, and they were yelling at him, telling him to come back.
Yeah.
He got hit.
Hawkeyes ended up winning that game 21-0
against Kentucky.
2 still defensive plays yet again. Southeast Polk, one of our own Iowa boys.
That's right, baby.
Pick 6. But prayers up to Jack and his family and all that. That sucks. They said like over 50, 60 plus family members down there for the Music City Bowl, because it was his last game on top of that too.
Yep.
Big Ten's National Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep. For sure, going to be playing on Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on. Like I said, we'll knock out all the small ones before we get to the real big one. Okay, which one do I want to go first? We'll go with Jeff Saturday. Says Kayvon Thibodeau, snow angel celebration, trash and tasteless. Nick Foles was injured during the play, and after he sacked him, he did a snow angel.
Okay, I can see how it's tasteless. Okay, but in that moment, I highly doubt Thibodeau knew he was actually hurt. So I don't agree with that. That's where I'm at.
I mean, if he wanted to be upset, I would have got upset if he would have looked over, seen him injured, and then started making a snowman. I mean, okay, now that's tasteless.
Right.
Yeah, because how often do we see quarterbacks just stay on the ground for a minute,
Yeah,
right? They get hit, they're pissed off.
Here's the thing. I watched the video. You're 1,000% correct. He literally tackles him. They go, and it goes hard. He probably could have gotten a flag because the new rule of like driving it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, and landing on him, yeah.
Technically, probably could have. But he literally, when he goes down, he takes him down. He like rolls over his body, like because it's all in momentum, and then he goes right into it. He doesn't even look back. He doesn't look back and see that he's down and like in agonizing pain. He doesn't see that because he's still on the ground doing his own thing. You know.
Yep.
Now, this part I didn't know. This is where it is tasteless. Okay. Evidently, he was on the sideline, doing a fake sleeping routine on the bench. After that, like mocking, I guess, evidently mocking Foles after he had found out that he did get injured.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a stretch or not. Okay, I don't know if it's Jeff trying to deter like how bad he is and how bad of a call it was to pull him out of the booth or whatever the hell he was to be the head coach. And then they've gotten progressively worse, literally every single week since he won the first one and got a close one. Against the Eagles? Almost beat the Eagles or something?
I'm waiting on Jeff Saturday to throw a football at the water boy. And like, can you do anything with this?
Right.
No doubt.
Keep rolling. We'll go to Panthers owner and Jim Harbaugh have talked coaching job. Conversation, not interview. Do you remember what he said when he went back to Michigan after the awkward...
Staying in Michigan.
Staying in Michigan,
Not
never
going to the
flirting
NFL.
again, right?
Yep.
Very careful. They're saying that they made that a very big point, that it was a conversation, not an interview, because they can't do that.
Yep.
Does it happen?
Yeah. The way the NFL now fits his coaching style. The way it was back then did not.
Do you think... Okay, Danny, who do you think it does happen, first off?
No, hold on. I'm trying. Do you remember the Panthers coach's name right now?
Yes, I do, and that's where I was about to go.
Steve
Wilks.
Yeah. So
he'd be getting done dirty, too, who's also part of that lawsuit, mind you.
yeah. So he's done a great job with what they have left.
Thank you.
Let's be real about that. And I believe wasn't he the coach at Arizona for a minute, and he kind of got the shaft and ended up, right?
Yep.
So he got done dirty once where he didn't have a real shot.
Right.
And then he's in this situation, and he's done. This is similar to the Raiders last year, right? That coach fucking somehow brought that team and made him a playoff team after everything that happened, and he got the shaft. Yeah. And I'm worried that Wilks is too, but he deserves a shot, man. With what he's done with this team, he deserves a shot.
He got them up and in the battle of the NFC South.
Yeah.
Right?
They barely lost to Tampa.
They were 1-4. They lost.
Yeah.
And Matt Rule, it did not. It looked so bad. And you're winning with the same guys, maybe even less, because you don't even have Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly. Definitely less. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Darnold looks just fine. The defense is balling out way more than what they were even doing before, right?
Yeah.
They could not stop running the ball. They're shoving 250-yard games on the field. Why wouldn't you give him a shot? They play for him. They play up for him. If this comes out, you almost have to give it to Wilks if this conversation happened because, like I said, he is part of that. If you forgot, he is part of that lawsuit. He jumped on that later on, pointing out the Arizona incident.
I know. I think Harbaugh is going to be a good coach wherever he goes. He's going to end up in the NFL. Yep. I do like him as a head coach. But as the owner of the Panthers, you think you got burned one time by a hot college coach coming in and he was dog shit as a head coach in the NFL with Rule, right? And now he's getting paid fucking a ton over at Nebraska. But
And still getting paid from them, too.
yeah, so he's kind of double dipping. But you'd think they'd learn their lesson. Like, dude, you've got something good. Stick with it.
Right.
Like, what the hell?
They play up for him, and let's see what we got, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm all down for it. We'll continue on with my second to final, because my final one's a good one.
Here we go.
My second to final. Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell scores a franchise record, 71 points in OT, in an OT win over the Chicago Bulls. It is the 8th highest in NBA history, the highest since Kobe's 81, which was back in, 2009? 7?
No, it was later than that, wasn't it?
I was going to say 7. I was going to say 7.
I'll go in the middle. I'll go 8. Somewhere in there, though.
Somewhere in the ballpark,
That's
right?
me guessing.
Yep.
Oh, I had the year, and damn it. I know I should have typed it right here. Funny thing about all this,
Oh, I already
the
know.
day after the Cavs, the day after that, all the Cavs were all randomly drug tested.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Weird.
Who
Why?
decides that? Does
And why are we still
Vegas-
doing that, by the way?
What?
Random.
Yeah,
What's that?
does
Drug
Vegas
test.
decide the drug test, though? They're like, oh, wait, this guy just dropped 80.
No, it's the league.
It is the league?
It is the league.
Okay.
And it
2006.
always happened. Who was it? It was 2006. Okay. Who is it always happened to if they
Took their shirt
if
off?
they had they went sleeveless. They always got one.
Oh, it just happened. It just happened, too.
It was like a defensive end or something like that.
It
right?
was for
Parsons. Michael Parsons.
no. Cleveland or Cincy's.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett. Yep,
Miles
that's
Garrett,
exactly what it
whenever
is.
he
Yeah.
went sleeveless, all of a sudden he'd have a random drug test in his locker. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's how
you're
they
right.
do theirs.
You're right.
Yep.
That's right, because he got pegged like the most.
Yep.
He's like, every time I go sleeveless, he's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. By the way, that man should not be able to dunk a basketball. What the fuck?
Yeah, just a freak
He's-
athlete.
Wait.
71 impressive.
Yeah.
Hey. We got... Before you touch your topic, we're going to talk about one guy that gets suspended for swinging helmets. We ain't going to talk about JJ swinging a helmet in the back of a ref's back.
Oh yeah.
He meant to hit the ground. He didn't know the ref was
No,
there.
that's
was
the
an
reason why I didn't talk
accident, but it
about
was
it.
rough.
But actually, he's very fortunate
Yeah.
that I think there was another ref besides the one that got hit that is like, hey, you walked into it. He wasn't intending to do it. Because I'm like, dude, any other dude, I've seen someone go like this not knowing a ref is behind him and they've been ejected.
Yeah.
Because that was slammed.
he
I was-
could have been
I was
ejected
like,
for sure.
"Ooh."
It's like I don't
We were walking out of the OP. I'm like, well, JJ's about to get.
I don't know
Ejected.
I don't know what he did. Like he swung his helmet and he looked at the ground. And he's like, no, I don't want to do this. And like if he would have full sent it, dude, that ref was down.
Yeah, would have been dead.
But yeah, impressive for sure. Scoring that many points even in the soft league like this. But Luka's triple double with 60 is better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. That being said, should the Knicks went wrong, right?
Yes.
That you didn't figure out a way to get this man right here.
Absolutely.
Because the Cavs, yeah. And 71 is, anytime you see something that big, when you see 60, your mouth gets a little like, holy shit. 50s are like flying off now. Giannis just had one last night, 55.
Yep.
They're
Nobody even
flying
talks
off the
about
board.
it.
Yeah, they're
It's so
flying off
common.
the board now, right?
Yeah.
Donovan.
60. He's like, it's
Utah.
like, he was Utah. It's the Spider.
Yeah,
Spider?
he played so he came from Utah Jazz.
Yep.
Who did he play college ball for?
Mid-major.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't Richmond, was it?
I'll find it quick.
Okay. 70. When you see 71, it was like what we seen. Yeah,
And
when you
they-
see 71, you see those big boys like pass like the regular. I'm like, oh, it's like, damn.
But they needed that 71 to win that game.
Yeah.
They needed every bit of it.
Louisville.
Was he Louisville?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was,
Honestly, I didn't know that.
was that the? I bet it was.
He wasn't the broken leg one.
No.
Okay.
I think he lost Rick Pitino like as he was coming in, or he got to be with him his last year, something like that. I gotta Google that.
Okay.
I want to see if he's the player. No, I'm just kidding, but I do. wanna see
We're
that.
going to, if it wasn't that huge football story, we are going to I know my guy over here is going to get passionate about.
Yeah.
UFC's Dana White apologizes for physical altercation with wife Ann White on New Year's Eve in Cabo, Mexico. In a VIP area of a nightclub, Dana can be seen in the video saying something to Ann, at which point she slaps him in the face. Dana White then slaps her back before the two are quickly separated. Did you get a chance to see this video yet, Miles?
Have you seen the Dana White slaps his wife video?
I don't watch videos of trash.
And exactly. And he's going to go on a rant, but I'm going to show you this real quick. So this doesn't even take that long. So I had this ready.
Yeah, check it out, Miles.
He played for 2 seasons under Patino.
Okay. So we got the video going on in the background, and Dana's going up to his wife. She's crying. Maybe he's apologizing. He's saying something to her, and he kind of has her arm, and she...
That pulls her back into it again, and there's some more.
Yep.
There's 4 of them.
Yep. So his wife is pissed at him. She's crying about something. She slaps him in the face. He slaps her back. Now, first slap could be a reaction. Just like, what the fuck? Don't do that, right?
Yep.
So you could... I'm not saying it's right, but you could at least say, okay, I get that. Then he pulls her into him, slaps her again in the face, and then he like either slaps her or like pushes her face down after that.
Yep. And
So
then
there's-
goes again.
Yeah, so there's 3 or 4 involved in that, and then eventually somebody pulls her away, of all people, instead of him. But up to this point, like I agree with what Dana has said, and I've been a pretty big fan and everything. Besides, he definitely rigs fights. It's been pretty obvious lately. But fuck him, dude. That is... No.
Disgusting,
Nope. I'm
right?
over it. Yep.
He was also... I'm going to let you go on your thing, okay? He was also he's been very vocal about you will be done in the UFC if you have a domestic disturbance. That is a no-go because we're in the fight game.
See you, Dana.
So
No chance he stays?
After that video, bro, I don't know.
He should, right?
He'll
Should be slammed down?
he'll stay.
Should be gone?
He'll stay.
Remember, Mouse, he's not the owner.
He's not the owner.
He's just the face of the UFC.
Oh, so he sold it, and they kept him as a face, so he gets like a paycheck too on top of it.
Yeah, so I think he might be like, quote, president or something, but
Dude, UFC, you have the door wide open.
yeah.
Who are we hiring? Who are we hiring? The guy that should be the face of the UFC.
Joe Rogan, of course.
There it is.
Yep. Bring on Joey. Let's go.
There you go.
Give me him. I want to see Joey out there ripping bongs, fucking talking to fans.
He'd make some changes that we would all like in the UFC too. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
I don't know who what Dana White and Conor McGregor are getting their cocaine from, but people don't buy from their guy. Don't buy from their guy.
Something, right? You seen that? That's a massive man, and that was the first one. Like he said, I do not condone domestic violence.
She tagged him.
She tagged him good, and it wasn't like he thought about it for a second. It was like a reaction. You can tell that the first one was a reaction. It was like whap, and then like fucking boom, like this, right? And then it turns into he grabs her, hits her again. And then going after her, and you could kind of tell he's like either pushing her head at some point or slapping still down like on her head. Then it starts getting pulled away.
yep.
This is a big. I was telling Danny this. And he knows this. He's a big man too.
Yeah, he's not.
He may not look like it when he's out there, like with the heavyweights, especially of the UFC. But he's a very big man, a very in shape man too for his age.
Yeah. He got to be gone.
Done.
Got to be gone.
Fuck.
There's no way that they can promote combat sports and trying to keep it as a legitimate fight business. And like, this is exactly what it is, and have that going on. And there's a video of it. You made a point, and I heard this at work too. Okay. So you're not the only one I've heard this from. And I agree with you guys. This may actually be worse than Ray Rice's.
I think so.
Ray Rice did drop her. Absolutely. And it is disgusting. But he didn't go many more times. And it was like she said something, whatever. If I'd have to go back and rewatch it. It's been a few years.
Hold on.
since I watched it.
Reword that.
What's that?
Reword that.
Reword what?
Don't say it's way worse. They're both bad.
They're both.
What you mean is...
Did I say way worse? I just said worse.
Yeah, but what you're stating is it's the fact that he kept going.
Right.
Right, so it's worse. He kept going. It is worse. It's bad. His is horrible. Okay, let's put it this way. This one's horrible.
Okay.
This one is worse than horrible.
There you go.
He continued to go
They're
and
both
where
bad.
he was.
Yeah.
And where he was in his career, too, on top of that.
Yes.
As in, he is the owner of this, and you've been you've been promoting not to be doing shit like this exactly. You didn't have a flinch moment. That was at the very first slap. You kept going. Ray Rice's was also the same thing with the flinch. I don't think she hit him in that, but there's a flinch and they were intoxicated, wasted. Not condoning any of this. Make this very clear what I'm saying.
He's not.
Not condoning any of this. He was heavily intoxicated. She was saying, if you listen to it, she was being ridiculous in what she was saying. She started saying some really nasty shit. He went a different route, which is totally unacceptable too. Knocked her out. Did not technically knocked her out, so it's kind of hard to keep going, but he did. It was boom, done.
Yep.
Literally, Dana White, if there was no guards there, we don't know what else could have happened.
Yeah.
Right.
He literally kept pushing forward and kept hitting.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at about being worse.
So what I took from that is if you go up and smack any trained fighter,
Ray Rice was also done in the NFL too, by the way. So
Right.
So the way I was gonna interpret it is if you go smack a trained fighter, you're getting hit back. But it's the fact that I'll give him that reaction, like you're saying. But the fact that he kept going at her, now that's how I'm picking up what you're saying.
right, like something didn't register.
Like, oh shit, I didn't get her good enough.
Like, yeah, exactly. Instead of it registering, like, fuck, what did I just do? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like you came at my face, you slapped me, I had a flinch shit.
Yeah.
Like, there was none of that. It just kept going, and it looked like it would have continued going
it
until they
would've.
started pulling because he was not stopping.
Yeah, he had a hold of her. Yeah, he was still going.
Yeah.
So he was definitely sleeping with somebody at this club,
Yes,
right?
and that's why she was crying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In the
Something like
first
that.
place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kissing somebody or
And here's the deal. It's not just the video is the reason that he's got to go. Every interview, because he talks to reporters every time,
Yes.
before the fights, during the fights, after the fights, every fucking one of them, this is going to get brought up. Anytime he disciplines a fighter for doing fucked up shit similar to this, they're going to be like, well, what about you? What about you? Every time it's going to get brought up.
Yeah,
They're
where's
not
your
going to let it go,
suspension?
dude.
Where's your
He's
fine?
got to go.
And what was
he
his
does.
arrogant? Hold on, you caught another video clip while you're trying to look for that one. What was his arrogant ass saying on there? Remember when we were looking up before we started?
Oh yeah, God, because he's got a response saying it was a podcast or some kind of interview, maybe with TMZ too, where he's like, "Oh, everybody's gonna think what they want to think about the video." No, the video is the video, dude.
That's between me and my family. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not, man. You're in a different position. You're not just
The
some
only
fucking bouncer anymore. Okay.
The only other thing that he said, like that, at least that's been being put on ESPN for like this quick clips and shit like that, is there's no, he flat out said there's no excuse for it. Well, no shit, there's no excuse for it. That's all you got to say.
well, if he smacks her out in public like that, imagine what happens to her behind closed doors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You think that's the first time?
Exactly.
I'm just curious. Like, do you think that's the first time?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know, man.
Like, because that was pretty quick reaction to a little lady.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
well-
Like, unless she's like that on a regular basis, and he had a PTSD or something, and you know.
Right.
So,
I don't know, man. I don't want to judge and say it's happened before or it hasn't. Crazy situations happen, but like let's say you slap her the first time. In my head, I'm probably like, oh fuck, that was a reaction I shouldn't have done.
She
that,
was
right?
walking away.
Right, and he pulled her into him to do it again, and again.
And again.
Fuck.
he
That
kept
I
going.
can't
He
do
kept
it, man.
going forward, pushing forward,
Yeah.
not even just pulling her. Like, if you watch it, he was going
Yeah.
forward.
So from what I seen in the video, I'm gonna assume that he's doing something else he shouldn't be behind.
Yeah.
Right.
And if she smacks you and walks away, and that's all you get out of the deal, just take the fucking smack, my guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Especially what he's worth financially.
she
too.
ain't leaving
Exactly.
Well, now it's open shut. She could.
Yeah, and I'm surprised like ESPN hasn't jumped on that. They're partners. ESPN is partners with the UFC, so
Here, this goes back to that.
No,
Adam
no,
Silver,
no.
though.
I'm with you on that, but ESPN is so. What is the word?
Usually, like on top of like pointing that stuff out, right?
that
Is
type of stuff,
Yes.
right? Anything where they have the opportunity to make judgment or cancel somebody or whatever,
Yep.
they like to make statements, right?
Yep.
This is one where they.
They must.
I'm surprised they haven't, or
They
maybe
must-
they are behind closed doors. I don't
Either
know.
that or maybe they're getting some coin. They're still making plenty of coinage off the UFC.
They can make it
because-
without Dana White.
Could, but do you force their hand into it? I don't know. That's what I'm saying, because they could have done that with Adam Silver and the or whatever. Amazon and
Yeah. With
all
Bezos
that
and
stuff too, right?
Yeah.
They didn't. In
Yep.
fact, their article on here on their main page is literally Dana. Do I still have that on here?
It's not the video. It's him apologizing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like if you go to the top headlines, how they word it, they're usually like what you're saying when they try to antagonize something or they want to beat something down or whatever the scenario, they don't make it necessarily friendly. This is what they said in their little headline: UFC's White on altercation with wife, no excuses.
Altercation with wife.
Altercation. You
What
see what
the
I'm saying?
fuck?
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm with you.
Imagine if Kyrie did that to his girl. That wouldn't be an altercation. That would be Kyrie beats the shit out of his wife. That it would be
And
something
then they
way more intense.
go through some ancestry.com stuff and find out that she has,
man that watched a movie smacks wife,
Yeah.
loses everything.
They'd be like
Yeah.
potential concussion. It would be out of control. But yeah, I'm not a fan, man.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we're getting kind of to the witching
good.
hour. I'm not trying to race anyone out, but
Can you
kids
feel
are-
your
kids are
toes over
cool.
there?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
I'm
at.
doing good.
Yeah, I know you're fine.
No shit.
He's weirdly warm-blooded for someone that's from like kind of south in a way.
Do you have a strange law?
I do.
Okay, so do your strange law because you just led into the make sense that I'll bring up tonight.
Okay.
so.
Oh, whoa, hold on. I got one conspiracy. It's a little one. Can we do my conspiracy real fast?
Do it.
Go ahead.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Do you know why my theory of why the movie Frozen was released when it was?
Ooh, I'm in for this.
When was it released?
I don't fucking know the date.
Oh, well,
I just know that the year it was released, people were talking about Walt Disney becoming unfrozen. His chronically frozen
Yeah.
head or whatever, however he preserved his body.
yeah.
So now if I type in Disney Frozen, I'm going to get fucking the movie. I'm not going to get the guy that I think's frozen in a fucking thing. So they did that so it takes up all my Google searches.
Cryo? Isn't it cryo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cryogenic freeze.
So it's
Okay.
That's
So they try to mask her over?
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what? I get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're over playing chess while we're playing checkers.
absolutely. All right, Jimmer, what's a strange law tonight, baby?
We're still coming out of Virginia, gentlemen.
Virginia.
There was once a law in Salem, Virginia that made it illegal to leave home without knowing where you were going.
Miles is thinking of Salem, Massachusetts, I think.
Yeah. It was.
I saw the eyes. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I was waiting
hold
for
on.
like
The
you
witches?
can't wear a pointy hat outside.
No, say it again, though. Say it again. In Salem, Virginia.
In Salem, Virginia, it is made illegal. It was made illegal to leave home without knowing where you were going.
Damn, you got to have that shit planned out, bro.
Yeah. How many times you been on the road and you forgot where you're going? Like, anyways, even if you...
You know how many times I've been pulled over and the cop asked me where I'm going? I go, I don't fucking know.
I'm driving.
and now I'm in the back of his car having to blow and shit, having to fucking. Well, I was like, dude, I literally don't know where I'm fucking going.
Hold on, there wasn't a machine around, was there?
No. That's why we were in the back.
Whoa.
He already had me handcuffed.
Hands behind your back, sir.
Nasty.
Nice.
The
I get
cops like it was only going to be a $25 litter ticket.
No, cop said it was only a right. I don't want that.
Oh my god.
Oh, my God.
Danny.
You got to print out your fucking, remember MapQuest back in the day? You got to print out your fucking MapQuest directions. Like, this is where I'm going. And he just sorts through them. Okay, you're good. Fucking get back on the road.
Here's Dad with the atlas.
Danny, you said make sense. Sparked. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, literally sparked. So, tonight, the reason we're so cold tonight, yeah, we live in Iowa. We usually get a little chilly about this time. But we've been freezing the whole time because I came out to start the heater to kind of take the chill out of the air, and holy shit, I almost died, ladies and gentlemen. At some point during our escapade, celebrating Miles joining the team here, we melted part of our propane heater knob, and so I come out and I go to start it, and I'm like, okay, let's see where this thing's at, right? I don't know how high it's going to be because you can't change the knob anymore, so it's either high, low type of a thing. So I don't know where it's at. And I go to start it, And I'm like, okay, everything seems okay so far. And we get it, and it's like medium heat, right? And I'm like, okay, this will be perfect. But for some reason, I'm like, I'm going to wait a minute. We're going to watch this because I don't want my garage to blow up. Lo and behold, like a minute later, I'm kind of looking, and I'm starting to think, like, oh, maybe I'll go inside. Boosh! So the flame busted out of the fucking heater. It was like fucking, I don't even know how to explain it, but right at me. And so I jump over, and I'm about to shut off the fucking we have a big-ass propane tank in here. I'm about to shut it off, and I see the flame escaping out, going towards the hose that runs from the tank to the heater. This shit was about to get real and legitimately blow up 3 Gig Studio.
Yeah, so if you know anything about what he's saying is gas would have followed that line back to the source. So not only would we had a little boom, but the big boom was waiting.
Yeah, it was on the other end waiting. Oh, my God. This thing is pretty damn full, too, because we just got it. When did we go pick it up that day? It was a couple months ago, maybe?
Even you only used it 5 times?
Yeah, maybe since then.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know this when I walked in. Luckily, Danny came out because I started looking at it. Granted, whatever happened, the knob just went to, you got to spin the knob and just freely spin it. I'm like, well, this ain't going to work.
We're not telling you everything about that knob.
But yeah. I did turn on the gas for a second, and then I was going to go grab the lighter that we had to use to strike it last time, right? And something struck my eye on it, like what you're getting at. I started looking a little bit closer. It wasn't just the knob part. I was like, I'm going to flip this over quick. I'm going to take a look underneath, because it isn't just freely spinning for whatever. I'm like, started looking, and it looks like it's like kind of dismantling itself from right there.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut it off. I'm gonna look a little closer. I'll get the other stuff set up. Danny comes in. He's like, I had no idea you sent a text out.
Yeah.
Because I was with my wife trying to get over here and all that, and I did not know that. And dude, like you said, this close. If you would have had the inkling to just chill in the studio for a couple extra minutes, boom.
Yeah. 100%. And Miles, you made a great point here. What would people have thought if my garage blew up?
So we live in Iowa. And I got to go see a comedian one time, and one of his jokes was, hey, I used to be so scared of my garage when I was a kid because fucking garages were blowing up left or right around me. It took me being in high school to find out they're meth labs. So I text Danny. I was like, oh, man, good thing you didn't have your garage blow up. They'd think 3 Gigs over there making meth, not fucking podcast.
No doubt. Nope,
Damn,
fuck that.
dude.
Definitely makes sense if you don't think about it.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom, pay attention, okay? If you've got gas flowing to a heater like that, make sure everything, Jimmer, you did a good job. Make sure if something feels off, we'll just wait a minute.
Trust yourself that it's probably off, right?
Yeah, trust your instincts. Don't get blown up. And that's definitely the words of wisdom. Man, that shit, that scared the hell out of me. I even text you separately because you didn't respond to that, and I just like in caps. I'm like, don't do it. Because Leah said you were in the garage. She's like, Jamie's out there, and I'm like, bitch, this isn't a joke. I'm like, don't do it. I literally, if you look at your phone,
oh Jesus,
I text you that before I came out here, and then I'm like, bro, if you'd have been messing with that, we'd have had a problem. That's for damn sure.
I just see don't do it. Don't in all capitals. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I didn't even see that either. Damn.
So with all that being said, it is cold as shit in here. We hope you enjoyed the show. For those of you listening that found us out there on the interweb somewhere, be sure to like, subscribe, share, give us a rating. It really helps improve the reach. But where's the podcast available, Jimmer?
Anywhere and everywhere podcasts are available. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and of course, YouTube. YouTube.
Let's go, baby. Make sure to check out YouTube. You get to see these beautiful faces out here. And we love to tell a good story. It's part of the reason we get along with Miles so much is he's full of stories. But he might run out, right? So we're going to need some help. So if they've got a story out there, Miles, what should we do?
Well, you should put it in our DMs. And I don't know why everybody pauses on it. Just tell me a fucking story. I want to laugh, too. I don't want you laughing at the expense of me every time. I want the expense of you.
Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's go. Get the stories out here. We'll tell names. Maybe we won't. Whatever the hell you want. Maybe not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll just get the stories going. But with all that being said, thank you, everybody, for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports. We out.
Discussions, I've been writing, I love it.